I admire people, and I've done it myself, to go on a talk show and go, hey, we got to keep movie theaters alive. We got to keep this genre alive. And another part of me feels like if people want to see it, like Barbie, like Oppenheimer, they're going to go see it and go out of their way to be loud and proud about it. And I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive, even though no one cares about this anymore. All respect to the ballet and opera people out there. I just lost 14 cents in viewership, but
And the Oscar goes to Michael B. Jordan.
There is always a moment when a celebrity stops being effortlessly likable and starts feeling like a person who just discovered their own press clippings and will not shut up about them. And for Timothée Chalamet, that moment did not arrive quietly. It showed up loud, a little annoying, and wearing a quote about how nobody cares about ballet and opera anymore. Now let's be clear. This is not about one comment. If this was just one dumb sentence, nobody would still be talking about it. Celebrities say stupid things every day, and we all move on. The reason this stuck is because it landed on top of a pattern, and people are starting to realize the version of Timothee they liked and the version who keeps talking are not the same person. For years, he had the easiest job in Hollywood. Stand there, look like you read books, say as little as possible, and let everyone project depth onto you. That was the brand. The quiet, artsy, slightly mysterious guy who felt like he wandered out of a French film and accidentally got famous. And for a while, that image carried him everywhere. People ate it up. Then, unfortunately for him, he started opening his mouth too frequently. And the first crack was not even the ballet comment. It was the award season tour where he decided, repeatedly, to tell everyone he is chasing greatness. Again, not the problem. The problem is how he said it. Standing on stage talking about wanting to be one of the greats, all while comparing himself to Daniel Day-Lewis and Marlon Brando, like we are all supposed to nod along and pre-approve the legacy. Then it kept going. In another interview, he casually described his own performances as top level. Not once, not in a joke, just stating it like he is doing a quarterly performance review on himself, and we are all in HR. Then you get the Vogue profile where he talks about people choosing not to have kids and calls it bleak. Which is one of those comments where you can practically hear half the audience go, "Oh, you're one of those." And by that point, the pattern is already forming. He is not just confident. He is starting to sound like someone who thinks every thought he has is worth broadcasting. So when he sits down and says he does not want to be in spaces like ballet or opera, where people are trying to keep it alive, and follows it with "no one cares about this anymore," it does not land as a harmless throwaway line. It lands like confirmation. Because now people are not just hearing the comment, they are hearing the attitude behind it. They are hearing a man who has made his entire personality about the sanctity of artistic craft explain why someone else's no longer matters. Because this is not some random outsider taking a shot at the arts. This is someone who grew up around that world, built his entire aesthetic on being adjacent to that world, and has literally leaned on that credibility to position himself as a serious actor. You do not get to lean on that world to look credible and then act like it is beneath you. And the response was immediate. Ballet companies, opera houses, performers, all basically said the same thing in different ways. People do care, actually, and maybe do not speak on entire disciplines like you just discovered them 5 minutes ago. Misty Copeland, who had helped promote his own film, came out and reminded everyone that these art forms are part of the same ecosystem that made his career possible in the first place. Which is about as polite as you can be while still saying, "This was a dumb thing to say." Then, Steven Spielberg casually steps in during a talk and starts praising ballet and opera as essential shared artistic experiences, and the room laughs because everyone knows exactly why that needed to be said, which is a very elegant way of saying, "Someone fix this." And the timing could not have been worse, because this all hit right as he was heading into the Oscars, where he was supposed to be the guy. The momentum was building, the narrative was set, and people were already halfway into their "this is his year" speeches. And instead, he walked in with this weird cloud over him, where the conversation is no longer just about his performance. It is about him. I've seen several people saying the Oscars snubbed him because of those comments, which is a great story, just not a true one. The voting was already closed before any of that backlash even started, so none of it had anything to do with the result. Michael B. Jordan won because his performance had real momentum behind it, but that does not change the fact that Timothee still had to sit there in that room, while everything around him felt just a little different. The jokes land a little harder, the reactions feel a little less impressed, and moments that might have passed quietly before suddenly carry a bit more weight. At one point, Misty Copeland is performing on stage, and whether it is intentional or not, you already know the internet is connecting that back to him in real time. That is not punishment. It is just how the room starts to feel when people are not as impressed anymore. Because once people get even slightly tired of you, everything begins to read differently. The confidence starts to feel like ego, the honesty starts to sound like arrogance, and the version of you that once felt effortless suddenly feels a lot more calculated. The ambition starts reading as you trying a little too hard to convince everyone you are already great. And suddenly, every interview, every quote, every little offhand comment gets run through that filter. That is why this moment stuck. Not because he insulted ballet and opera, because people are starting to realize he might not be the effortlessly cool, quietly brilliant guy they thought he was. He might just be another actor who got famous, started believing his own mythology, and forgot that sometimes the smartest thing you can do in an interview is say less. The worst part for him is that this is not something you fix overnight. You cannot PR your way out of people being mildly annoyed with you, and you definitely cannot act your way out of a shift in how people see you. Once that starts, all you can really do is sit there, while the internet slowly recalibrates how it feels about you. And right now, that recalibration is not going in his favor, because the version of Timothee people liked never had to convince anyone he was interesting. This version will not stop trying. And nothing turns people off faster than watching someone argue for their own greatness in real time. That's my take, and I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous. If Timothee lost 14 cents talking about ballet, I can only imagine what I just lost talking about him. Drop a comment, hit subscribe, and help me break even.
That's all.